and beyond.
I feel the need for speed.
My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
What is film? What defines it? The official definition states that a film is a form of entertainment that enacts a story by sound and a sequence of images, giving the illusion of continuous movement. But what makes a film good? What makes one bad? What makes us care? In this series, we'll take a look at the highs and lows of the art form we call cinema and find out what has to go into it to really make it all happen. I'm High.noon Productions, and this is the magic behind our screens. In the 2000s, in particular the early 2000s, superhero movies were a joke. They weren't respected by critics and were mostly terrible. Every year, several companies would try to make the standout superhero movie to rule the world, but none ever succeeded. Sure, there were a few standouts: Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies, Batman Begins, the debut of the MCU in Iron Man, and this, The Dark Knight, the movie that ignited the superhero genre. Think of all the superhero movies we've had over the last 10-15 years, not just in the MCU, but across all media, and this one is still the benchmark, the gold standard, the one that everyone compares them to. I find this funny, as I don't really see The Dark Knight as a superhero movie. I see it as a crime thriller with Batman and Joker in it. But why? Why is this film so beloved by audiences, and what had to go into it to make it what it is? I'm High.noon Productions, and this is the magic behind our screens, Episode 1, The Dark Knight. I want to start this video by talking about Christopher Nolan, the man behind some of the greatest movies of the last decade. His movies have made over $6 billion worldwide and won the man 192 various awards over his long career. His style of directing over the years has mainly focused on story and character, going hand in hand to create a strong narrative, not focused on expanding a world or adding excess where it doesn't need to be, but to make a story interesting and engaging for his audience. To put this simply, Nolan's movies have one centre focus, and know what they need to be. He's not concerned with adding several subplots that don't benefit the main focus. This allows characters and story to all follow one main theme, and for a film to be engaging but not confusing. Stories are usually focused on one main character, their journey and the struggles they may face. In The Dark Knight, the journey of Bruce Wayne is defined by its antagonist, the Joker.
I'm a man of my word.
In film and any media really, I truly believe in the saying that a hero is only as good as their villain. Not necessarily about how each character acts individually, but how they both act together to benefit the underlying plot. Batman and Joker are a classic example of this. Two characters as old as time destined to fight forever. Usually in movies, the hero and villain don't interact properly until the final act, but in The Dark Knight, Batman and Joker interact a lot with each other. In fact, most of Batman's decisions are fueled by things Joker has either said or done previously. I would say their best interaction in this movie, and probably the best example at this point however, is in the interrogation scene about halfway through the film. At this point, the Joker has been captured by GCPD and Harvey Dent has gone missing. Believing the Joker had something to do with it, they are holding him in the police station and using Batman to gather information on Dent's location. We see the Joker toy with Batman a lot at first, pushing his luck and attempting to get Batman to break his one rule. However, eventually he gives in and hands over Dent's location and location of love interest Rachel, who at this point no one knew was missing. In a split-second decision, Batman obviously decides to rescue love interest Rachel, sending Gordon and his men away to get Harvey Dent. However, this doesn't all end so well. Joker, proving that he's always one step ahead, switches the address, causing Rachel's death and Harvey's descent into madness. Batman was influenced by the Joker to go for Rachel, having no real reason not to believe him. He will eventually learn from these mistakes later on in the story, but will forever be haunted by this night going forward. I mentioned the Joker always being one step ahead of Batman, and I personally think this may be the best trope of this entire movie. There are a few great examples of this. The aforementioned interrogation scene, the scene in the final climax where he replaces the guards with hostages, forcing GCPD to kill innocent men and women. Even simple things like having a backup detonator for the two boats in case they decided not to blow each other up. But the best example I could find was in the very first scene of the movie, the bank heist. In this scene, Joker sends some of his men to rob a mob bank so he can later win favour with the criminals of Gotham. I counted 6 people in total, 2 on the roof, 3 in the car, and the bus driver.
Bus driver? What bus driver?
If there are more than 6 or less than 6, I've left my email in the description below. Go and write your complaints. He secretly gives each of the men a task. Once one of them has finished their job, kill them so they don't have to split a share. However, we later find out that one of the guys in the car was the Joker all along, left standing there with all that money to himself.
I believe whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you stranger.
Even when some of the men started to click that all of this was just a setup, he always had another trick up his sleeve, waiting to be used if necessary. This immediately, as an audience member, gets you invested in the movie, as it makes you think constantly how Batman will get out of these situations, not knowing what's true and what's not. This is really great, but unfortunately, my next and final point is not. I have to critique The Dark Knight at least once, and I think the fairest way to do so is to focus on the second villain in this movie, Two-Face. It's not that I dislike Two-Face in this movie, I actually think he's great. I just think that his origin is just way too rushed. This could have and probably should have been its own movie. If you think about it, he wasn't mentioned once in Batman Begins. We go through his entire origin, lowest moment and death in one movie, and he's not even the main villain. I guess what happened to Two-Face in this movie did have a major impact on the Dark Knight Rises plot, so I will let Nolan off, and really because I don't want to critique this any more than I have to. But I don't know, maybe this could have been something more. And I guess with the whole multiversal stuff Marvel's doing, we could get a Two-Face movie very soon. Only time will tell.
It's not about what I want. It's about what's fair!
But anyway, that's going to be it for me today. I hope you've enjoyed the first episode of The Magic Behind Our Screens. If you have, please feel free to like and subscribe. That would be amazing. And maybe even check out Ralph's Big Cock Up. It's really funny. Anyway, thank you. Bye!